So good morning everyone. I'm Jherome Tenorio, and today I'm going to report on chapter 4 of our subject, no, which is the information privacy threats and vulnerabilities. So I'd like to report it until um, the sixth slide, because when I tried recording it, it took me 15 minutes already until the sixth slide, and it basically covers a lot of topics already. So we all know that the internet is evolving, day by day. I mean, the internet, our technological advancement is evolving day by day, no, and not just in one area, but in many aspects of our lives and in the technology. So it says here in the first bullet, advances in information technologies have created pressures that increasingly limit privacy and make the task of protecting information privacy significantly more difficult. So, no, ganyan nga talaga, as we have discussed in our first discussion, no, said by Sir na um, sometimes when we are developing systems, we tend to forget about the security measures involved, especially to our um, stakeholders, privacy and security for our stakeholders. And then, as I did my research, and it says here, that according to the report by the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, or the OHCHR, the development and deployment of new technologies have created new and complex challenges to the protection of privacy. The report notes that many of these challenges arise from the collection, processing, and the use of personal data by governments, companies, and many other actors. So, it says here also in the second bullet that the advances in information technology, especially in the areas of information security and cryptography, have led to the creation of new tools and methods for protecting privacy. So, there is a need also, no, for us to improve the protection of our information, or the PIIs that we call, and they have also created and developed new means, to adjust to these advancing technologies. And one of these many examples, um, um, one examples on how information technology can limit privacy is the use of facial recognition technology, or the facial identification, no? And it is done real time most of the time, and it is increasingly being used by not just the law enforcement, but also some applications that require monetary transfer, However, the use of facial recognition, take note, no, raises concerns about our privacy and civil liberties. It can be used for mass surveillance and tracking of individuals without their consent. Just imagine, you've given your identity, to the government, and they have connected a lot of and there are a lot of cameras available, with the advancement also of IoTs and etc. Now they can use this to track your location on real time basis. So, and it's really feels off, just imagine being stalked by a stalker, by your stalker, and you don't feel comfortable, and it gives the same sense of discomfort, when we have something like this. So, though however, the overall impact of advancing technology has been to compromise privacy. So it has the decreasing data storage cost makes it generally less expensive to retain data than to go through a process of deciding what data to destroy and when. So I remember back when Google Drive, when I was using Google Drive for free, and comparing it now that I am using the I am paying for the additional gigabytes, because that's required for my work and also my passion, and my hobbies. So I do also vlogging and photography, and most oftentimes I just drop my files there and etc. And also I'm also guilty. I also tend not to um, maintain my email, because it consumes a lot of time, and with the increasing data storage, we don't care much anymore if we deleted them or not. And this is also a good the attackers or the mischievous people also love these practices that we have, because they can there's a lot of information, and when they breach your personal account, there are a lot of information or data that they can gather from you once they access your um, personal space, So we also have here the interconnected IoT devices collect and transmit a variety of information, leading to the growing potential for collecting personal identifiable information. And as I said earlier, because of increasing speed of our internet, and the cheaper cost of internet connectivity, and also it led to the advancement of IoT devices, and we cannot deny the fact that we are already using this technology everywhere. And if I'm not mistaken, one of my colleagues are doing two or one of my colleagues are doing a research on this, with IoT devices, with the parking lot management right now. So um, we cannot limit, them, institutions or businesses in collecting our personal data or information, and when they are developing. And the next one is always on or mostly on personal devices generate a considerable amount of data that is open, accessible wirelessly. Ayan, of course, some applications, if you have noticed it with your mobile devices or smart gadgets, before you can use an application, it requires you to allow the access of certain data or applications in your phone, that may be compromised by sketchy people. And then we also have here the cloud computing environments are more complex to secure than the data center. Yes, that is true. Because cloud computing is vast, and it may be accessible for everybody if they know what they are doing. So the protection of this, and what do you call this? The volume, of data stored in the cloud are hard to look after, and that's why it is oftentimes harder to secure your data. And then we have this digitization of paper records that are often available over the internet. So actually, um, it's good to go paperless. Yeah, yes, because it reduces a lot of processes, but at the same time, it compromises a lot of information. You know, so if we compare it before, the person needed to break through your office into your um, physical security design, physical security layout, What I mean is your physical building, ano? And comparing it now that it is accessible online, uh, they can access your information um, in just few clicks. Okay, and then you compare that when people will break into your office and look through your files, hard copies individually. So there's a lot of difference now. And then we have here the repurposing of collected data. While an organization might collect personal identification for a specific purpose, both the collecting organization and other entities increasingly find value in using PII for other purposes. At it is actually tempting, especially me who work as a freelancer. It's always tempting, no, to repurpose your data that you have gathered, because I've worked with real estate specialists. Syempre, I also gain uh, information about their clients, and that I can repurpose those if I have the um, evil intentions. So we cannot 100% ascertain, no, that when organizations or businesses say that they're going to use it for a specific purpose, that they will not be using it in other means. Okay, so we have here general examples that include businesses. So sa as I learned before, when I tried to study, I enroll a course on digital marketing online, and they said that for some businesses, data is more valuable than um, a gold, because they can predict, and they know how their clients behave through the data that it is provided to them, and they can make better decisions, and they can make better advertisements that will target the person's interest, location, gender, and other demographic information. So, in this sense, they can reduce the cost of their marketing, and increase their sales, and save more um, for the market, save more in marketing expenditures. So we also have here the researchers, So though it is not allowed, I do believe that some are practicing this in repurposing their collected data through other in creating other in doing other researches, and you also have the government agencies, so they all have the freedom, especially they gather a lot of data from the granular level. And so with this, we have to build restrictions into the database management and access system. Data collected for one purpose can easily be used for different purpose in the future unless you restrict them. So here are the many implementations in your database, so that you can restrict um, repurposing data collection. So number one is that we implement an access control. So we set up controls in the database to limit who can use the data, and use role-based access controls to ensure that only the authorized users can access the data they need to perform their jobs and functions. So we have 33 seconds left. And another one, number two, we have to encrypt sensitive data. Of course, that's a traditional practice, and we use encryption to protect sensitive data, such as personal identifiable information or the PII, credit card numbers, and health records. Encrypting data makes it unreadable to unauthorized users who do not have the decryption key. And number 3, implement data masking. Yan. Data masking is a technique that replaces sensitive data with non-sensitive substitute value. This technique can be used to protect sensitive data such as social security numbers, bank account numbers, or other confidential information. And then number 4, we implement audit trails. So by implementing an audit trail, track who can access the data, when, and for what purpose. Audit trails can help identifiable unauthorized access and use of data. And the fifth one, we include data protection clauses in contracts. So if the data in the database is shared with third parties, make sure to include the data protection clauses in contracts to restrict the use of data for other purposes. So that's the most and direct approach, in protecting your data from being repurposed. And number 6, and the last one, monitor data usage. Of course, we monitor the usage of data in the database to identify unusual access, patterns, or suspicious activities. Use the data analytics tools to monitor access and use of data, and of course to detect anomalies. So my report is adjust until this slide, and I hope you learned something, guys, and see you around in class. God bless you, everyone.